Hannah, Miss Philly, and all of you real women of Philadelphia. I'm Lori, and I'm really happy that you were able to come and join me here again in my kitchen for another fantastic side dish recipe. Tonight on the menu, I've got barbecued steaks going, corn on the cob, and a fresh green salad to partner along with amazing creamy roasted garlic potatoes. We're going to take, this batch of new baby potatoes and mix them in with that combination of flavors that is exciting and satisfying. Of course, starring our Philadelphia cream cheese. We're going to use our regular Philadelphia cream cheese along with some roasted garlic and peppers, a bit of seasonings, a little bit of sour cream, throw it all together, make a side dish that's going to be perfect for your barbecue season. I wish I could say that I just pulled these little potatoes out of my garden today, but there's two problems with that. First problem being I live in Alberta, which, as many of you well know, it is far too early to be digging potatoes out of the garden in Alberta, being that it's not even the end of May yet. Second problem being I have yet to be successful at a garden in any of the houses we've lived in. I have high hopes for future years where we live now, but as of this year, I'm still being satisfied with the produce from other people's hard work. Set my potatoes aside for right now and get going on our garlic and peppers so we can get them roasting. I have got my oven, actually my toaster oven is what I'm going to use to roast these, set to 400 degrees. And I am just going to slice my peppers into some thin strips. We're actually going to chop them a little bit smaller than this, but for roasting, this is a nice, easy way to go. Set them in a bowl together. Toss them with some olive oil to get them all coated. And that's all we're going to do with the peppers. The peppers have so much flavor all on their own. We don't need to add any seasonings or anything to them before we roast them. So I've got my pan here, and I'm just going to set them all out nice and flat. Now our garlic is going to be a roasted whole head of garlic. So I'm going to open up a head of garlic and separate out all the cloves here. Take the outer paper off, but leave the inner wrappings on your garlic. I've got all my cloves taken out of the outer peels, and I am just going to clip off the end of each one, slightly chopped off the end there, and then toss them into the center of a square of aluminum foil. Okay, now that I've got all the cloves sitting there in the center of aluminum foil, I am going to coat them with some olive oil also. Just make sure they're all coated there. And then wrap this up in a little package and seal it up. Now I left the peels on our garlic because they're going to slide out real nice and easy after they're roasted. So we are going to just wrap that up and seal it all in. Seal in the flavors, seal in the garlic, seal in the oil. Set this on my pan along with my peppers. Then I'm going to put this into my 400-degree oven, and it's going to take about 25 to 30 minutes to get good and nice and roasted. So I'll keep an eye on it there while we move on to our potatoes. Our peppers and our garlic are roasting in the oven. We're going to get going on boiling up our potatoes. I've got some hot boiling water behind me. We're just going to prepare our potatoes by making sure that we're working with little bite-sized guys. I don't mind if we have to cut our baby potatoes up maybe one time while we're eating, if they're double bite-sized, but some of them are a little bit too big. So I'm just going to take those and cut them either into halves or quarters, make them a little bit more bite-sized, because the more of the creamy sauce that we get on them after they come out and are all cooked, the better they're going to taste with all the more flavor. So once I've got these all prepared, they're going to be tossed into our boiling hot water, and keep an eye on them because they're only going to take about maybe 10-15 minutes before they're fork tender when we test them in the water. So we don't want them going too long. So okay, now that I've just put my potatoes in and I've still got my red peppers and garlic roasting in my toaster oven, we're ready to start on the base of our creamy sauce that's going to go on our potatoes. The nice thing about side dishes is that you can pair almost any vegetable or potato dish with a bit of Philadelphia cream cheese, and you take it from ordinary through the roof to extraordinary, something that becomes so incredibly addictively flavorful that you may have to limit some portions on your guests there. But what we're going to do is start with our 1/4 cup of melted butter into a mixing bowl. Any type of mixing bowl is fine. I'm using the light Philadelphia cream cheese, the spreadable kind for our recipe today. But whatever Philadelphia you use, you definitely want it to be at room temperature for this recipe, because we don't want it to be cold when it goes onto our hot potatoes. It's going to go straight from putting on our cream cheese sauce straight to the table. So you want it to be nice and warm, or room temperature at least, while you're working with it. Now if you haven't got your cream cheese to room temperature, or if you're using a brick of cream cheese, which is a little bit not quite as soft as the spreadable, then just throw it into your microwave for about 15 to 20 seconds. Soften it up, lose that chill off it, and then it'll be ready to go. So with a 1/4 cup of melted butter, I'm going to take about 1/2 cup of our Philly and toss it into the butter. You know what, I'm going to use 1/3 cup of the Philadelphia cream cheese into the butter there, along with 1/2 cup of sour cream. You can use low fat or no fat sour cream also if you would like. We're using fully leaded sour cream with our light Philly for what I've got going today. So now I'm going to take those 3 ingredients and just mix them up until I've got a nice, smooth, buttery, cheesy sauce. The thing we're going to toss into here is about 1/4 cup of chopped chives or green onions, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Fresh ground pepper is always a favorite of mine, so definitely use that if you've got it, and put it in just to taste, however much you would like to add in there. The main flavors of these potatoes are definitely going to be the roasted peppers and the garlic, but the extra fresh ground pepper and a little bit of salt will add to the flavor of the potatoes. So mix those in nice and good there. And then we're just going to set those aside while we wait for our garlic and peppers to finish. And I'm just going to chop up some fresh parsley, which I've already washed and gotten dried out and ready to go here. This is just going to go on the top of our potatoes, not in the cream sauce itself. Out of the oven, nice and piping hot. So we're going to get going on chopping up the peppers, throwing them straight into our creamy sauce, and then I'll show you the garlic too. Roasted red peppers, I'm just going to chop them to little chunks. Just be careful, they're still nice and hot, but that's exactly how we want them. So into pieces that are about 1 inch long, maybe 1/2 inch actually, across all those slices that you did already. They smell just wonderful. So then we've got little bite-sized pieces of red peppers, and those I'm just going to separate off from my parsley here. Just going to go straight into our mixing bowl, and you'll see all your hot and toasty little cloves in there that are all nice and roasted up with their open end. So I'm going to take a little bowl here and squeeze each one of these pieces of garlic out from their skins, and they're just going to plop in to my bowl. Okay, once I've got all my roasted cloves of garlic into the bowl, I'm going to use the back of a fork and just mash them up, leaving some pieces a little bit bigger. But whole cloves of garlic in this potato recipe is going to be a little bit overpowering. So we want to mash them up so you get all the flavor of roasted garlic. My nice hot and toasty roasted garlic mashed up into the bowl, and I'm going to spoon that into my mixing bowl. My potatoes are still bubbling away behind me, but they're almost done. I just took a little poke with a fork in them, and we're just about to right where we want to be tender-wise. So with our garlic and our peppers in there, I'm just going to fold them in real gently. We have got a delightful blend of peppers and garlic and cream cheese and all our flavors all in there blended together, just waiting for some hot and toasty potatoes. My hot and steamy potatoes are all drained. They took about 20 minutes to cook. I have 2.5 pounds of potatoes, where they're straight into the mixing bowl, and just ever so gently toss them in our creamy sauce. So there you have a most fabulous way to eat your new potatoes by making them creamy roasted garlic and pepper potatoes, thanks to Philadelphia cream cheese. You can also enjoy that incredible creamy topping on top of a baked potato if it's not new potato season, which is give these a taste. I'm going to see if I can find a bite with a nice piece of pepper and a little bit of garlic. That garlic has an amazing smooth flavor when partnered with the Philadelphia cream cheese, and that roasted red pepper has just the right texture. I'm sure you're going to enjoy these at your next barbecue or your next family dinner. So until you're back with me here, keep cooking with cream cheese, and I look forward to seeing you again.